Hi everybody, thank you so much for joining us today for our third rehearsal hall sessions. Before we begin, I would like to acknowledge that the Evergreen Cultural Center and the land where we are right now is part of the traditional, ancestral, and unceded territories of the Coquitlam First Nations, which share territories with the Tsleil-Waututh, Stoulou, Squamish, Musqueam, Kikite, and Katsi. My name is Valentina Acevedo Montilla. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and I am the Performing Arts Assistant and Youth Engagement Coordinator here at the Evergreen. I would also like to thank the BC Touring Council for their support of this series, as well as BC Arts Council, the Province of BC, Canadian Heritage, and the City of Coquitlam for supporting live performances and art at the Evergreen. The rehearsal hall sessions are a series of 6 double bill performances that showcase an incredible group of emerging creators that come from diverse visual and performing arts mediums, cultural backgrounds, and forms of expression. For each performance, I had the honor of curating the closing set and inviting each of those artists to curate the opening performance. For this performance, however, I had the honor of curating the 2 curators of the show, which are Selena Bone and Emily Dundas Oak, who curated an amazing lineup of 4 Indigenous poets, readers, who will be sharing their work with us over the next 4 videos, plus 1 little interview that I did with both curators. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Tawau, Tansei, Selena Nitsika-san. Welcome, hello everyone. My name is Selena. I'm really excited to be here with you today virtually for Evergreen's Cultural Center's rehearsal hall sessions. So, Otse Notue iswe nukam wia oche waterhen askiagan, egwa namusum wia oche flying desk askiagan, ot egwa nigwe wi munesquiao. So, it's important for me to begin in a good way and introduce you in Heawewin by letting you know where I come from. My mother is a settler, and I grew up with her on the beautiful lands of the Cowichan people as an uninvited guest. And on my father's side of the family, my grandmother's Cree from Waterhen Lake First Nation. My grandfather is Cree and French from Flying Dust First Nation. So I'm so grateful today to be here with you on the gorgeous traditional, ancestral, and unceded territories of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh First Nations. Whenever I give a land acknowledgement, I always do so knowing that that acknowledgement comes alongside a commitment to allyship, to deep listening, learning, and to really cultivating space and attention and time to thinking about my own positionality as a settler and Nehiao Esquio. I was biking here today, and I just, got to have some moments on this gorgeous land and enjoy the blossoms. And I just encourage everyone, no matter where you are, what territories you're on, to just take a moment to reflect on your own position in relation to whose lands you're on. So I'm a poet and a youth educator, and I was so grateful to be asked to help co-curate this series with Emily Dundas by Valentina. I'm so excited. The lineup we have is absolutely incredible. We have so many amazing folks to share their work with you. We've got Mackenzie Ground, Brandi Bird, and Molly Cross Blanchard. All of them, I know you're going to be blown away. I'm so excited, and we're going to let them take it away. I'm really excited to introduce you to Brandi Bird. Brandi Bird is a Two-Spirit Saulteaux, Cree and Metis writer and editor from Treaty 1 territory, currently living and learning on Squamish, Tsleil-Waututh, and Musqueam land. Their work has been published in the Alaska Quarterly Review, the Puritan, Poetry is Dead, Room Magazine, Brick Magazine, Prism International, and the Fiddlehead. And Brandi Bird I can't say enough about them. Their work just continually blows me away. There's so much attention and detail to sound. The way that they combine images is unexpected and always so moving. They are a fantastic person, friend, and I'm so grateful to be able to call them kin, and I'm so excited that you get to hear from them today.
Hi, I'm Brandi Bird. I'm Saulteaux, Cree and Metis from Manitoba, Treaty 1 territory, and I live in Vancouver now, which is the territory of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh peoples, and I'm here to read some poetry for you. I'm going to start with this poem called Love Letter to Southern Authority, which is the CFS, the Child Family Services Authority I was under when I was in foster care. Love Letter to Southern Authority. Southern Authority means no father, no mother, means nobody. A permanent ward, fauna in the background, a deer, a moose, myself. I stand at the door of a new home and don't knock. Beyond it are fields to graze in, trees to rub my soft flesh against, shake off the flies. I don't know what exists inside the home, the bones of it slimy and white like teeth, the foundation growing concrete like skin over a burn. The doorknob blisters when I grab it. I choose to walk away, hands at my sides, afraid to touch even a crocus. Everything I grasp recoils, transforms. Every novelty is terrifying, and I am still so young. Birds fly towards me, circle and dive. They pluck out my old eyes and replace them with birch bark. I live for 100 years like this. No one can tell the difference. And this poem is for my grandfather. It's a true story. It's called the Selkirk Journal Archive. My namesake is deep red, burgundy, brandy like rust on his lips. In red rose tea, in a white Pyrex glass, at the Lord Selkirk Hotel we simply call God. He and his friends, natives like spruce trees, have skin hard as bark. Both are arrested drinking off reserve. Caged, kept in the drunk tank overnight with handcuffs that bit like barn cats. Off reserve is a plot of land in East Selkirk. He fishes beside it with a silver and bone flask in his shirt. His hands smell like bait and tobacco and my grandma's perfume. He ownerships, sells fish wholesale, and raises 17 kids with the profits. Drinking off reserve, he and his friend, natives like pickerel, alcohol to numb the currents of the Red River. His blue boat, his brown nets, his red-skinned, all flattened in the prairie sun. Sheen of sweat, a hangover, he wakes up in the clothes he wore yesterday. $22.30 to the judicial body. For the burn through his body, the privilege to lose himself like I'm lost. We live in each other's veins. I feel it in a shot of whiskey, the tree his ashes are spread under. Today the tree is on private property. I sing a mansion on the hill. I ownership and drink at the Lord. I ownership and trespass. And this poem is from my grandmother. It's called Braid. My grandma never had her hair cut by nuns or Indian agents. She chooses a tight perm now, bald spots from where she tugs on it when she's drunk, pulling memories from her head. As a child, she cleaned houses for whites off reserve, permitted once a day to go to Selkirk, East Selkirk, places she would live when she grew up. Her hair was long back then, like mine now, black, straight as Prairie Highway. It's red today. She covers the gray with Vidal Sassoon box dye, slowly rusting under the shower cap as I roll cigarettes for her at the kitchen table. I love when she touches my hair, compares our faces. I look nothing like her. This next poem is called Countdown as Drunk Mothers. It's after the poets Michael Wasson and Dennis Smith. 10. Somewhere winter. A girl tableau of snow angels, halos added later, made of sticks and tinsel from the dumpster. 9. January blue. Girls play for 12 hours because they can't go home. 8. The snow piles where plows push it, and girls slide down hills into the sleeping street. 7. Girls' mothers drunk at 9 a.m. 6. Check day, nicotine yellow, lasting until the sun sets. 5. Over the horizon, grab my hand. 4. Cold fingers in the dark, a bottle of Budweiser and a snowball. 3. Drunk mother or child wanting to go home. 2. Low-income townhouses, girls' braids like barbed wire. 1. Girls spitting out baby teeth alone in the snow. 0. A history, a collapse of beer vendors. This next poem is called Ode to Diabetes. God answered my prayers. Pray for sickness, not illness. Pray to be rouge-cheeked, prayer for sweat. Let my pancreas die. The all plus flesh, pinprick of a glucometer on my finger, Trigger rosary bead, smudged insulin in my stomach fat, medicinal clouds. A sky darkened by endocrine storms, metabolic shock, the awe, the sweet smell of piss, a perfume called Abundance worn in church when I was 11 years old in white dresses. Pneumonia when I was 12, my father in the oxygen tank, breathing him in, incense and rawhide. When I got better, I ate attention, the praise for being alive. There is no praise now. A needle, a sharps box, yellow asking me to slow down. I eat an apple and it spikes my glucose. Dawn phenomena, the sun phenomena, a phenomena of language and its failures in the light of day. Gibbous squad, mixed gland in the Anishinaabe-Moed Medical Dictionary. There is an error in the way I speak, the way I eat. My mouth is inhuman, it curls when I'm punished. Prayer for when I'm better, when I better take care of myself. Prayer for hiding insulin from my father. Prayer for the ritual at bedtime, the grip on the needle, the puncture, the pump. There is no pill to dry swallow now. Medicine is subcutaneous. It is molten and it changes form. Insulin collects in pools like holy water I'd sneak sips of in church. All those babies baptized in water I'd put my lips on. Let God run through me like sugar. Like he is so sweet, I'll gag. This is probably the favorite poem, my most favorite poem that I've ever written because it's after and for my best friend, Selena Bowen. It's called It Is and It Is. In a dream, there is a field where time has no hands to hold our bodies. We crawl on grass crystallized to our skin, entering new and old phases of matter. The fast and then dull ache of bones aging back and forth in our shared time glitters like clear light over clear water, and I have no words to describe abundance beyond the absence of fear. In a dream is a dream where time is useless, rendered into a strip of scotch tape, keeping flowers pressed in an old book you hated. The words give a new meaning under petals and the concept of preservation. Renewal is a beast we have in our hair, braided twice just to get a feel for it. Small teeth and incisors keep falling out of our mouths, always replaced, old and new tools to bite at any sight of an edge to this hour. This field is fenceless and upside down, and deep with black soil, where we bury ash that smells like the future, ash that smells like the past. Is it medicine, the infinite, the circular, where we both make words out of the same damn world over and over again? I hope so, and I tell you that before we walk home. I tell you that before we are real again. This is called Relocation, and it's after Layli Long Soldier. Myself, a church I built with blueprints from the Fellowship of Lower Fort Garry. Ended is a name I've given my body. 1907 is a concept, a calendar dredged up from a well in the flood of the century. North is displacement, a forced removal, 169 kilometers up the prairie. An organized body, a body on asphalt, of asphalt and gravel roads. Here there is only the sound of footsteps in the rain. All Indians are rivers, live in the river, die there. Their bodies float to Hudson's Bay, get caught as the river freezes, reanimate, talk dirty to each other. Peguis First Nation, illegal land transfer, molted air from the chimney stack that grows out of Selkirk, Manitoba. Anxiety is summer, is a natural gas thermal pump and a little girl beside it in 2002. She sleeps with a knife under her pillow, a screwdriver once her mother hides the knives. Gets her hair cut for $5 at the local barbershop when she gets lice. Relocated in wagons, in cars, by foot, ticks in armpits and pubic hair, tall grasses, tall grasses. There are telephone poles that link the whole town to the city, to the country. A country grows out of their backs, and she has never known the reserve. Permits to leave, her grandmother married on Broken Head First Nation at 13, children after children, herself like fresh flint never struck. Great-great-grandmother tilled fields, grew carrots, dreamed of owning territory, ownership, owning. Her sons went to war, and one came back blind. He dug his hands into the earth, Peguis First Nation, and breathed it in until he choked, until the earth filled his lungs, until grasses grew out of him. And this next poem I read with permission from my brother. It is for my brother. It's called My Brother Aging in Reverse. If prison is a country, let it break open like a clock on the hour. An escape of green eyes, taken like child support, German-headed and arguing for the past. Innocence has nothing to do with it. My brother, born at the edge of summer, totters and falls. Our mother screams about paternity from the back of a pickup truck, and I am not there. My brother's face is handsome and young, and he turns 18 and I am not there. The borders of his story are embellished by my voice. I am not invited. Terra nullius in this poem, a prison is a border of barbed wire and braided hair. Our sister drives him there. The prairie split like rubber on a tire, burns in front of our low-income townhouse. The car windows crack in the cold like a wooden bat on the wall, missing my brother's head. Those people, they just wanted to protect us, but we hurt instead. We hurt and try on different clothes, new cities. My brother on his way to visit his father in prison. We don't talk about it. I don't know if he will go. I just know the sweet grass I gave my sister, tied with orange yarn, resting on her dash for good luck. What happens when you are given what you never had? A gun in the back seat, no seatbelts, 2 a.m. drug run from Kenora. This is a story I don't remember. This is the story I'm told. My brother in the background, a baby. He ages in reverse. His lips split open on new teeth and he looks so old. If his story is a country, I settled there. I was bitten by mosquitoes and brought back this poem. And this last poem is called Poem for White People. So I wrote this poem when I was in the Banff writing residency and I couldn't figure out what to call it. I was like, maybe I'll call it The Academy Asks for Context. And then my mentor, Eduardo C. Carrell, was like, why don't you just call it Poem for White People? And I was like, okay. So I did it. Poem for White People. Circle, spiral. Indian compartmentalization. I live in the shack my grandpa built after World War II. Drive to Selkirk in the middle of the night. I hold a black and white picture from the 30s of my grandma on Broken Head First Nation. Say hola. Flick a camel print lighter. I put bars on the windows. Study this low-income housing complex and the bread truck that visits on Sundays. KFC for my 8th birthday in Kildonan Park. Merle Haggard's Branded Man. My mom's perfume called Opium. Restraining order after restraining order after restraining order. My mom stalking my dad in 1995. I look for a disenfranchised great uncle dead on the Mitchell Veterans Memorial Wall. Go to Child and Family Services sessions in court. Be permanent ward. I kiss a girl at 15. Sleep in the back seat when my mom's boyfriend runs cocaine. I get free admission to the MOA. Imitate my dad's accent. I don't live on my territory. This I'm not going to say. Write about my territory even though I can't afford to go home. I smoke with pneumonia. B density. Use the cognitive science degree I never got. Air. Skip my great-grandma's funeral on Pine Creek First Nation. Water. I walk by the Adam Beach mural in downtown Winnipeg, the first language I ever learned. The muddy banks of the Red River. My cookum calls Stephen Harper a snake. I fall asleep while my dad sings Johnny Cash. Hold a residential school settlement for $14,000. Read about my brother's dad going to jail for 20 years, smuggling weapons over the border. I tattoo syllabics on my wrist for $100. Ignore my auntie yelling out of the window of her old Chevy. Plant the flag, grow it out of my back. Imagine my grandpa's shotgun pointed at my dad in 1993. I was born with dark hair and darker eyes. Imagine my grandma singing with Hank Williams in the 40s. Be Indian time. Shoot a water pistol full of vodka into my mouth. Think redacted name, redacted name, redacted name. I get a 1-year membership to Ancestry.com. Circle, spiral. Thank you.